Hey guys, welcome back to Mayday-san Airsoft in Japan, and today on Thespian Thursdays, we're going to be talking about gas blowback rifles and what they have become to me. And I know I made a video talking about this a few weeks ago, saying I'm done with gas guns, but I've kind of seen them in a new light ever since I moved over to the NGRS platform, the recoil shock electric guns, electric blowback, if you will. And I wrote some notes down here, and I want to just talk about some of the good things and the bad things about gas rifles, and should you even get one at the end of the day as a regular airsofter here in Japan. So, first of all, I think that gas guns are cool. I think they're fun to use. However, after trying to main them as my main platform, being all recoil happy and manual of arms, OP, whatever mans, they become a gimmick weapon, and they're not particularly competitive, especially outdoors, but they are just fun to shoot, and I think they are a great learning tool for those who are interested in real firearms. One of the things I don't like about them is that, yes, I just said they aren't very usable outdoors. Their maximum effective range is like 30 meters max. Even then, the more you shoot, the more inconsistent it becomes. Every time you shoot, you feel like you're wasting money. Not wasting money, but like you're wasting more resources than just BBs, because you're also worrying about your gas capacity as well and how much you can shoot, because now you have to worry about how fast it's going to cool down, especially in winter time, fall time. So not only that, you have to worry about the actual magazines themselves and making sure that they're not leaking and they're not damaged, so you can't drop mags on the ground. So I think from a competitive perspective, they're not very viable. They are, I guess if it was like Warzone, they're like viable, but they're not top tier viable, or they're not S meta or anything like that compared to like an AG. Like a regular AG would obviously be just S meta, and then you have like G Seti would probably just like top tier viable, and then you have these at the bottom in terms of viability when it comes to outdoor play. When it comes to the indoor play, I think that they're perfectly fine. I think that they get the job done because you have an unmatched trigger response and a wall, and you don't have to worry about range or temperatures as much because you're inside, and most indoor fields will provide like magazine warmer, like dishwasher tray thingy, and you can warm up your mags from there. Just be careful not to warm them up too hot or they will explode. But even then, I can't yeet mags. Like, the reloads are really clunky and slow for gas blowbacks because you have to take care of these magazines because they aren't cheap. Right, so instead of just yeeting mags on the ground and throwing them on the ground and just loading up another mag, I have to sit there, put this in the thing, make sure it doesn't fall out of the dump pouch, put a new one, and then rack it from there. But you may not think that's a big deal, but when you're only running 30 round mags, well, I run 30 round mags for everything. When you're only running a low capacity magazine, reloads really do take up a lot of the time. So I think for me, like competitively, the trade-off of speed is taken away by realism. That being said, I still enjoy shooting these motherfathers. They're super fun to shoot, but speed-wise and manual of arm-wise, they are a lot slower. I'd say like 50% slower in terms of that, and of course, reliability is a little bit slower too. Though, for people overseas, you can just use green gas, which is easier to use outside. You can use different kinds of gases. But here in Japan, we only have one type of gas we're allowed to use, which is Duster 134A or 152A. So it has a really, really cool, really, really high cooldown rate, and it's not very powerful. Like this AK, for example, the Tokyo Maru AKM, like it shoots snappy, but at the same time, it's very sluggish. So I haven't really used this thing that much, actually, to be honest with you. My Mark 18 has seen more days, but part of me is just like, yo, should I just sell these things because I'm never going to use them? Which brings me to my next point. I think everybody should have at least one gas gun, 100%. If you're interested in real arms, like real firearms, or just learning how systems work and just having the closest thing to your real steel firearm shooting, if you are from America or something like that, it's either gas gun or go home. I think that it's okay to have overlap in my inventory, for example, if it's a gas gun. So I have a Mark 18 over there in the back, but I'm not opposed to getting an NGRS Mark 18 because the gas gun is a completely different experience, right? And for me, who's somebody who likes realism, and I use 30 round mags, and I like to do press checks and tack reloading without losing BBs and stuff like that, and having that recoil, gas guns fulfill that for me. But I'm also very competitive. I also like to have get good gameplays for you guys. I like to get a lot of kills. I like to be able to move really quickly and do a lot of fun reloads and dash those mags and stuff like that on the ground. And I just can't justify doing that with a gas blowback. And I know a lot of like MWS users, like the M4 users, they just drop those. They drop those mags on the ground. I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Like, don't do that. You'll break your magazines. I guess you just have a lot of money. I'm not that rich or anything like that. I'm poor, bro. So I can't afford to just buy new mags. You actually can't, at the time of this recording, you can't even find this AKM anymore. It's like super expensive to get. They're very rare. But my solution, and as I talked about before, is of course going NGRS, or going next generation recoil shock, or recoil shock AEG. And it gives me best of both worlds. I get the 30 round mags. Okay, not short loading. These are actually 30 round mags that you can switch to 30 rounds. I get the efficiency of an AEG. I get the blowback and feedback when I'm shooting with a reciprocating charging handle. And I get a bolt stop function, which is all the gas blowback features in an AEG platform. And the cool thing about AEGs is that they have a lot more custom parts when it comes to upgrading them. So I can find Picatinny rails, I can find, you know, dust covers, I can find extended barrels and stuff like that. There are a slew of them for like, you know, gas blowback guns, but they are limited to how often they came out or if people actually want to support them. So like for right now, the AKM has nothing basically, but the Storm and all the AKSs and NGRS have a slew of parts that you could do with a little bit of modification. But yeah, NGRS has just become, you know, this perfect middle ground for me. All you have to do is just upgrade them a bit, increase their trigger response a little bit better, and they're good to go. And you can full auto these motherfathers all day. You can yeet mags all day, and you can get the best of both worlds. And I think I suggest to anybody who really wants to have that realism and also still be a little bit competitive to get an NGRS system if you can afford it. They're not that expensive over here in Japan, but I understand for those overseas, it can be a little expensive. But for me, standard AEGs, I just can't really use it. I've been thinking about selling my MCX too. It's a cool gun, but like, I don't know. I don't feel it, but I don't know. We'll see. I might keep it just because it's so cool. But anyway, gas guns, they become just a fun gun, gimmick gun for me to enjoy and have fun with. If I ever want to sweat it out and get really good gameplays, I don't think I would be using them for that. I would rather use an NGRS system, but it's nice to have that option. And I think that you should still have at least one in your armory when it comes to your airsoft life. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Mayday-san Airsoft in Japan. And for more gameplay, commentaries, news, and discussions, make sure you subscribe right here on Young Out.